for use in areas where extreme mobility is required and ammunition resupply is difficult. A new rifle has been issued to Special Forces, airborne and air mobile troops of the Army, and to other military forces of the United States.
It's one of the most iconic rifles in the world, a weapon that defined a generation of warfare and changed how soldiers fight. Loved, hated, and endlessly debated. This is the story of the M16 rifle. The M16 story begins not on the battlefield, but in the boardrooms of weapons designers during the Cold War. After World War II, the U.S. Army was armed with the reliable but heavy M1 Garand and later the M14, a battle rifle chambered in 7.62 NATO. But warfare was changing. The need for lighter, faster-firing rifles became clear, especially after U.S. forces observed the effectiveness of the Soviet AK-47. Enter Eugene Stoner, a brilliant engineer working for Armalite. His creation, the AR-15, was lightweight, fired a high-velocity 5.56 millimeter round, and was constructed from modern materials like aluminum and plastics. A radical shift from the wood and steel rifles of old. The AR-15 was sold to Colt, which marketed it to the U.S. military. By the early 1960s, the rifle was adopted and designated the M16. Vietnam would become the proving ground and the nightmare of the M16 rifle. Initially praised for its lightweight, high capacity, and low recoil, the rifle's reputation quickly suffered. Troops reported frequent jamming, malfunctions in the field, and catastrophic failures during firefights. Many blamed the rifle's lack of chrome-lined barrels and the switch to a different gunpowder than it was originally designed for. Worse, soldiers were falsely told the rifle was self-cleaning and issued without cleaning kits. A deadly mistake in the humid, muddy jungles of Southeast Asia. The backlash was swift. Headlines in U.S. newspapers accused the government of sending troops into battle with faulty weapons. But to its credit, the military responded. Improvements were made. The M16A1 was introduced with chrome-lined parts, better ammunition, and proper training materials. By the late years of Vietnam, the M16 had started to regain trust. Over the next decades, the M16 underwent multiple evolutions. The M16A2, introduced in the 1980s, featured a heavier barrel, a burst fire option instead of full auto, improved sights, and a new round. The M855, with better penetration. The M16A3 and A4 brought rail systems, modern optics compatibility, and new ergonomics to the aging platform. These variants would see service in Iraq, Afghanistan, and across NATO forces. The rifle's modularity made it easy to adapt for evolving battlefield needs. New handguards, vertical grips, laser sights, and night vision gave the M16 a second life in the 21st century. As warfare shifted to urban environments and close-quarters combat, the long M16 began to fall out of favor. In came the M4 carbine, a shorter, collapsible stock version of the M16, sharing much of its internal design, but optimized for mobility. By the early 2000s, the M4 began replacing the M16 in frontline units. Yet the M16 remains in service with support troops, military academies, and allied nations, a testament to its staying power. The M16's influence is global. It became the standard rifle of dozens of U.S. allies, including South Korea, the Philippines, and Israel. Licensed or cloned versions appeared in Canada as the C7, in Vietnam as the M18, and many others. In the civilian world, the AR-15 platform, a direct descendant, became one of the most popular rifles in America, sparking debate, admiration, and controversy. Few rifles have generated more discussion, criticism, and loyalty than the M16. It has been called a technological marvel, a bureaucratic failure, a game changer, and a symbol of American firepower, sometimes all at once. From the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of the Middle East, the M16 rifle has seen over 6 decades of war, politics, and evolution. What began as a bold experiment in small arms design became one of the most influential rifles in history. Love it or hate it, the M16 changed the battlefield forever. What's your take on the M16? Battlefield legend or flawed design? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into military history.